This is Assembly Bill 22 by Assemblymember DeMaio. Assemblymember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. I'm here today to present Assembly Bill 22, End the Reckless Release of Criminals Act. We are seeing a sea change in California as it relates to public safety. It's in reaction to some pretty bad policies that we experimented with, that have led to very negative consequences and that led to a bona fide crime wave in our state. We have seen crime decrease nationally in most states. In some states, it has merely plateaued, but here in California, crime has gone up. We are bucking the trend. Why? Number one, we've disparaged our police officers, leading to an unprecedented shortage in our departments. Staffing shortages have to be addressed. Second, with Proposition 47, we took away the ability of police officers and prosecutors to arrest and prosecute criminals. Voters thankfully corrected that mistake in this last election by overwhelmingly passing Proposition 36, which repealed Proposition 47 and restored the ability for police and prosecutors to arrest and punish criminals. Assembly Bill 22 deals with the third driver of our crime wave, and that is the reckless release of criminals from our prisons. Our bill does three things. First, it repeals Proposition 57, which is an initiative that allowed for the early release of criminals from state prison. Prop 57 was deceptively titled. Voters were grossly misled with an initiative title that claimed it would improve public safety while doing the exact opposite. Implementing Proposition 57 has resulted in disastrous consequences. It has created crime victims. It is time that we admit the mistake with Prop 57 and usher in its repeal. Second, Assembly Bill 22 focuses on the reckless release of a specific type of criminal, sexually violent predators, SVPs. Sexually violent predators are not just your ordinary sex offender. They are diagnosed by experts to have a high likelihood of reoffending. SVPs are deranged. It's not a question of if they will try to harm someone sexually, but when. Unfortunately, existing law allows for the release of SVPs into residential communities. San Diego County has had 90% of SVPs released in the state of California into our county. My district has had all but 3 SVPs released in the last 8 years in my district. Many of the judges consider rural areas to be, well, no one's around, so they're the best place to dump SVPs. But in rural areas, we have schools, we have families, we have residential communities, we have individuals that go out to engage in recreation, and we don't have very good cell service, because one of the elements that is claimed for the release of an SVP is that they'll have an ankle monitoring bracelet. Well, in some of these areas, we don't have cell service to actually assure the monitoring of these individuals. AB 22 would end the release of SVPs in residential communities within a certain distance of tribal governments, as well as would prohibit the transitory release of SVPs. Shockingly, 2 months ago, a San Diego Superior Court judge got so frustrated with a lack of a permanent address for an SVP that the judge decided to simply release a sexually violent predator as a hobo with no residential address associated with the individual.
An Assembly member, not to interrupt you, you have about 30 seconds remaining.
The final element of Assembly Bill 22 relates again to the release of sex offenders. In 2020, the legislature passed SB 145, which would allow an individual who molests someone as young as 14 to avoid mandatory sex offender registry. Assembly Bill 22 would ensure that upon the release of this individual that they would be required to register as a sex offender, would repeal SB 145. I ask this committee to consider the negative consequences of these policies and to put public safety, not politics, first. And I urge an aye vote on AB 22 for that purpose.